Welcome to the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter.
I'm Todd Whelan.
And this week we have a new baby in town. Her name is Blaze Trinity Whelan. Weighing in at 6 pounds, 3 ounces.
14 ounces.
14 ounces. And
19 and a half inches long.
And her reach is a foot and a half.
Now she weighs 8.58 pounds and is 21 inches.
Gaining weight at a record pace.
Yes, 2 pounds in 1 month. 2 inches in 1 month.
With a name like Blaze, you are definitely headed for reality TV.
It's something.
She's gonna have a personality.
As long as she makes a lot of money. As long as she's rich by 5, so I can retire. No pressure.
Child actor.
Yep.
Dancer.
I mean, how old was Macaulay Culkin when he did Home Alone?
Macaulay Culkin should be the benchmark for all children.
Or what's that? What was his name? Haley Joel Osment, the kid in The Sixth Sense.
Oh, I know the movie. I don't remember the kid.
Yeah, I don't know. He's that blonde kid with hair.
That ending to that movie.
I never saw the movie, so
no.
But I know the guy was dead.
Then it's been ruined.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert!
From a 1996 movie.
You know, so I came into a philosophical realization, and I realized the other day that Netflix, you don't tell Netflix what you want to see. Netflix tells you.
Tells you what you want to see.
Because I just saw, probably for the 4th time on Netflix, something that I had no idea I've been waiting my whole life to see.
So you saw it 4 times?
No, like this is the 4th time it's happened to me.
The 4th time Netflix has told you what to watch. And
yeah.
You didn't even know existed, but you wanted to watch it.
As soon as I watched it, I realized I've been waiting my whole life to see it. One, like a long time ago, this was Cake Boss for a lot of people.
All right.
You didn't know that you wanted to watch that, but oh my God, yes I do. And then now I just watched a docu-series called Fastest Car. And Todd, do you know what a sleeper car is?
Yes.
Prior to this, I didn't even know what a sleeper car was.
So your car, but with like a huge fast engine in it.
Yeah, it's like taking my Mazda 3 and putting a Corvette engine in it and surprising everybody.
Yeah.
So I like to think of myself as a sleeper in CrossFit. However, you do in the car world, you have to actually beat people to be a sleeper. So like this is 8 episodes, and in the first episode, first through 7 episodes,
I saw one episode
3 sleeper cars race 1 supercar, which is super is like a world-renowned, recognized fast car, like a Lamborghini Huracan.
Was there like some like lady who had like always wore heels and she bought like a supercar?
Yeah.
Like it was like a super fast like Lamborghini or something like that, and didn't even look like she knew how to drive it.
Right. So some of these owners they might have a cool story, but they don't always know how to drive. But the idea is that like some of these supercars have race mode and launch mode and all of this like super sophisticated engineering already built into it. So can somebody who knows what they're doing and built their own car beat a supercar? So each race, each episode, they documented and followed 3 people that built their own cars. So like one guy's best friend died in a drag race, like a car lost control and killed him. So he recreated his friend's car in tribute of him and then raced it in the show.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was just super cool. And I can't say I'm not a car guy. It's just, sometimes like I've just never really prioritized it in my life. I think they're cool. If somebody has a car that they built themselves, like I give them way more points than somebody who just, saved up money and bought one. But I think anyone who's built their own car probably wonders, can I beat a Ferrari? Can I beat a Lamborghini? So this show went through 8 episodes, and then all 7 winners from the first 7 raced each other in a final at the end.
Oh, wow.
And you have to watch to find out who won.
Can you tell me off air who won so I don't have to watch?
I will tell you off air who won.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Spoiler alert.
But I don't want to ruin lives by
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Mike tells me at the end.
Like, you don't want to ruin your life by telling you what happened in The Sixth Sense. Or in Major Leagues, or in Rudy, or I'm out of movies already.
Major League Back to the Minors.
Yeah, because everyone saw that. Yeah. All right, so let's get on with Goonies. Let's get on with our topic today, which is episode title is The Father Factor. So I want to talk about part of our mission is to help build stronger men, stronger families, and stronger homes so we can all be better contributors in the community. The idea is that people who become unhealthy may not realize it, but the less healthy you are, the worse your mood is. Generally, the less you can do physically, like you're just less capable. And therefore, to a degree, I'm not saying, you don't serve a purpose if you're super smart and friendly, you have a lot of things to contribute, but just as you become less healthy, you become less capable of contributing to other people. So it's very important from a community perspective to take care of yourself, to make sure that you are as effective as possible to the people you care the most about. And you just had a baby, so you're a brand new father. And what do you feel like has changed inside of you in the first couple of weeks? And I know for me, it took me like a full year and a half. And the first year is really complicated. I'll put it that way. So I want to know from you, like, what's it been like? And there's no perfect answer. You don't have to tell me that your perspective on life has changed.
To be honest, my schedule hasn't changed that much. I haven't really been lacking that much sleep. There's been a couple nights where she's been a little whiny, but it hasn't been like anything that all the people said I'm not going to get sleep. Maybe it's because I didn't really get a lot of sleep prior. Getting up at 4 a.m. every day, like we're going to bed at 9 o'clock, so and because Ashley's breastfeeding, so like I can't physically feed. Well, I just started feeding her because she started pumping, but like I haven't been able to like feed her, so like I was doing nothing, like unless Ashley was super tired and just like, Todd, your turn, comfort her, do it, change the diaper, do something because she's just whiny or whatever,
And hats off to your wife, because almost right away she's back in here working out again.
Yeah,
Ashley's in here working out already, which is crazy.
Yes, I know. All the power to her. I think I'd been like, I would have been the lady that gained like 150 pounds during pregnancy and had like a 10-pound baby and lost like 2 pounds during birth. Like physically impossible, but that would have been me. And I would have gained like another 50 after birth.
Dude, if men were in charge of having kids, there'd be like 4 people.
Yeah. Well, number one, the pain to go through, we'd be like, oh. I mean, I love my daughter and can't wait till she's. Oh well, I hate saying the word "can't wait" because time goes way too fast. So I can wait.
Yeah.
Right. I can wait until she gets older. But I mean, like she's a month old and she does nothing. She doesn't really smile.
Yeah.
Like on command or like we smile at her, she just looks confused. She sleeps, she eats, she poops constantly.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I asked you this because I had my own experience. My brother just had a kid of his own, and everyone that says like, oh, when I held my baby for the first time, it's just like completely fell in love. And please understand, if you haven't had a kid, take this the right way. It's not like that for the dad. It's like, in reality, it's more like you're more and like you married your wife and you fell in love with your wife, and then you have a kid, and of course you love her or him, but you don't have that same connection yet that the mom does, because it's been inside of her. There's a different emotional connection. For a dad, it gets really awesome when they develop a sense of humor. You can start doing things with them. They say something really funny, or you kind of can start interacting in a way where you can take them places and spend some time. I remember when I took B to his first, I think he was a year old or 2, when I took him to his first spring training game. He didn't know what was going on, but that was like one of the first moments I remember it being a big deal for me. And so it takes a while. And, you love your kids, you love your baby, and you do everything you can. But for me, I noticed the responsibility gear kicked in for me. Like, you tend to start cutting a lot of things that aren't that important in your life away.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, a month ago when I got my new pair of sneakers, it's probably the last pair of sneakers I'm going to have for like a couple years. No more new clothes unless they're given to me. Just a lot of nothing going to happen my way. All towards the baby and Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah, all your money goes towards that, but it's in a very focused way. It's not as, for me at least, it wasn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. Because growing up, you hear these 40-year-old guys, 45-year-old guys be like, oh, as soon as money hits my wallet, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so it kind of grew up dreading it. I didn't feel dreadful at all about it. Like, it felt kind of exciting, like I had a goal. And it's kind of like this gear kicks in where you feel like you're the hero a little bit. You're the one that
yeah, definitely. Sometimes, like, physically, I have no lack of motivation to work out, right? Like, my entire life, like, physical goals, like, for me, like, on point. Like, career goals, working goals, like, sometimes they fluctuated up and down.
Yeah.
But, like, this month, while I'm in the Operation Silverback program, which is 6 months long.
Describe that. So this is not a personal training, a training program that you're a part of with a bunch of group of guys.
Yes. Well, let me just finish this and then I'll talk about that. Okay. So, like, I started that in January before Blaze was born, and it had been coming since like October, November. So I knew it was coming. It's a 6-month-long program, and like I said, physical goals for myself very easy to like commit to. Personal and career goals have been a little challenging sometimes, like motivation-wise. This past month, like, I guess it could also be that I now have like a set program for 6 months, so I don't have to think about my workouts. That now I have like mental capacity to think about other things, but it's been like so like, okay, how am I going to further my career? How am I going to support my child in the future? How am I going to just do, like, it's all been like towards family and like career.
Yeah.
Like all I've been thinking about, which is kind of crazy for me because it was like yeah, I want to do better and would like always study and like research and do things to try and make myself better and make a better life for myself. But now it's like, all right, like what plans of action can I take? Versus like I'm really good at starting things, really bad at finishing them. So now it's like, okay, we got to like put these plans in action and finish them. So it's been pretty cool to see that. Like transition since she's been born. But back to the Operation Silverback. So it's a program by James Serby and Rebel Performance, wherever they're located. I do not know.
So they're
on the interwebs,
online.
Yes, on the Instagram and the World Wide Web. And I'm on a team of 3. There's 6 teams of 3, and every week. Like, so we have each month is you get workouts like at the beginning of the month. It's for every day, 6 days a week. And each week he tells us, like on Saturday or Sunday, he'll tell us what the challenge is for the week. And it's within one of those workouts. And we just have to go savage on that part of the workout, whether it's a lifting thing, a cardio thing, just whatever it is. And then whoever has the most points wins that week. Whoever has the most points at the end of the month, this past month got like a $50 like gift card. And then at the end of the program, whatever team has the most points gets all their money back they paid for the program plus $500 each. So it's pretty cool. So it's like a competitive / team environment, and then there's like an online, like a forum that everyone just bashes on each other, and then like also helps each other. You could put up videos or whatever, and just, hey, you need to work on this or something, or oh my god, that workout effing crushed me. Like, is anyone else like? And it's like, oh yeah, like that's crushing me too. Okay, I don't feel so bad that like I feel like a freaking wimp sometimes, like doing like a lunge, and I'm like, oh my god, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm dead too.
Well, and for those that haven't played sports before, I can imagine being in a forum with all alpha dudes that many people may not realize you get made fun of just as much for doing something good as when you do something bad. Like, I remember in baseball, if you hit a double off the wall, your own team is making fun of you from the dugout for having warning track power.
Yeah.
And so, if you bench, what was that? You did a deadlift test.
The bench press test. I came in first on, and like I got told in the forum, like, that's it. Like, right. So I did 235 20 times, and like I was like, that's it. Like,
which there are some players in NFL Combine that do 225 for 20 or less.
Yeah.
You know,
In the positions that I would play.
in the positions
So
that
I
you
always
would play,
compare myself to the combine. I love combine time.
and that's it. You know,
Yep.
that's all you had.
Remember that one time back when I was younger? Boy, let me tell you.
Well, you know,
Yeah, but
What-
it's cool. Like, so I've been working out since junior year of high school. So like, really like in the weight room. So 2001, right? So now it's 2019. So it's 18 years of working out. Joined a gym in 2003 when I graduated. Started personal training in 2009. Probably knew what I was doing by 2015.
yeah,
And then probably knew how to train by 2017.
yeah,
Right? So, but I've been working out a lot, and you know, it's cool. And like every once in a while, like someone would do something in the gym and like, oh, let me try and do this as well, you know. But now, like, it's back to being on the team, right? I have 2 people depending on me to try and effing crush it, and then now I have 15 other dudes that I have to beat, right? So I have to try and, if say one of my guys on my team isn't good at lifting or isn't good at cardio, I'm gonna try and make up the slack.
yeah.
'Cause that's just me, like my leadership that I have instilled within me. I'm going to try and do so well that I'm making up for someone if they lack, if anything. But now it's also I have to compete against people.
Yeah.
And there's like rewards too set in. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so the reality you have to face as a father now too is that your team is you, your wife, and your kid. Like that's your main team. And that's one thing I know is hard for some people to shift to, because you're used to, I don't know, taking care of so many people. Like when you're on a team, you know, it's fun. You win, you get a tally. But, you know, with family life, you don't always get like victories like that all the time. It takes a ton of focus. So what do you think has been the biggest benefit for you so far? Having the program or the experience that's kept you going? And you're only a couple weeks in, but you know, some people take this entire 3 weeks off. Like, what's kept you going? Just having that support, the program itself?
So I would have to say, like, the program, but also, like, those teammates, right? Like, the reliability. People are relying on me. I'm a huge program jumper because I keep trying to research and everything. So I will find a program that's awesome, do it for 2-3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks I'll read 10 other things about different training programs, and then that one's really cool, so I'm going to do that. Like I just read something and I was like, oh, that's a really cool like strength endurance program for my press and also kettlebell swings, and then I was like, but it's gonna have to wait 5 more months because I can't do it right now. So like the commitment, I guess, is probably the biggest thing. Like I committed to this 6 months, and I have people relying on me to perform. Right, so I can't take it easy on days where I'm supposed to be going at it.
Yeah.
You know, so everything like, you know, I got a baby, but you know, other people have 3-4 kids and are working 20 hours. Some people don't work in a gym. They have their regular job and then they come to the gym. So you know, they have kids and then they come to the gym. Someone works out at, I think, 5 every morning because otherwise his job gets in the way.
Yeah.
So he's got to do it, wake up and go to the gym. So it's just, I have people relying on me. You know, I hope, you know, it's in reverse too. They're relying on me. I'm relying on them. Right. So.
And I think somebody listening from the outside in might think, you know, that might even have the connotation of, you know, you have a new kid, a new family, and I know there's other people that have been in this situation or might be entering in this situation. Maybe you're listening and you don't even have a kid yet, but someday you will. You know, you're in your mid-20s or something. On the outside looking in, you know, you have a wife and a kid now, and you are dedicating yourself to this other program. And to some people, they might spend so much time focusing on the home that they don't take care of themselves in the meantime. And in the reality, you doing this and keeping your focus on something like this is actually making you a stronger, better husband and a better father, because you are, I don't know, you're learning the leadership skills that I think only physical effort can teach. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Like physical punishment, I shouldn't say punishment, physical fatigue that despairing feeling when you're fatigued is essentially, like Mike Ash said in the podcast we recorded with him, you're putting yourself in a position that's safe, but in a position where you have the option to quit, or possibly even encouraged to quit by your own. You know, we all have an inhibition to fatigue. We all want to stop whenever things hurt. You're constantly rehearsing the decision not to quit. And that builds a bigger, better father.
Absolutely. And my working out is almost like a meditation. Like, no, I'm not like in a Zen state while working out and everything like that. But I kind of just shut off things and just work out. And just like, you know, if I take out anger, I try and channel it during that and like get it out of me so that I'm taking care of myself, which I enjoy. So then I go home and I'm not mad because I couldn't work out. You know, I'm happy that I'm home to see my child. Like, I worked out, get home, I'm happy to see them. You know, I'm not like, ugh, I'm home. I love my family, but I didn't get to work out today. So, you know, I'm kind of resentful to them or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm taking care of myself and taking care of my family all as one.
And now on the other side of the coin, for mothers, there's such thing as mom guilt. Have you guys experienced mom guilt yet?
I think Ashley has a little bit, but not too bad, because I'm trying to encourage her to, like, you know, she can, now that she's pumping, like, you don't have to be, you can leave me home alone with the child.
Yeah.
You know, you could go somewhere for longer than 2 hours without Blaze. You know, it's fine. So
I kind of wish we were in front of a live audience right now. Like, I could be like, how many show of hands, you know, out there of moms feel mom guilt? And that's, you know, like, you feel guilty doing things for yourself and not including kid of the baby. So, like, Ashley already has the habit built up. Like, she's a career personal trainer, so she has that. What about people, this goes for fathers or mothers, that don't already have the habit built up? What's the likelihood you're going to start when you have all of that responsibility, the new responsibility? And some people perceive it differently. Like, some people are overwhelmed by it, and some people don't get it right away. Like, flat out, there are some dads out there that don't feel the responsibility to stick around at all. And I think that's insane. But, you know, it's for the people that do care, it's hard. And I think the reason why we developed this program, why I developed the F1 course, the F1 Father's First course, it's online right now. It's a 5-module course to
where can you find that, Mike?
Teach fathers at, well, it's funny you asked, Todd, at inwardinvesting.com. And I developed it for dads specifically, and one day I might actually put one together for moms. But I know I understand what dads are going through, and the instinct to put others first is, bar none, fathers, mothers experience that right away. First and foremost, the dedication towards taking care of other people. You know, almost to sacrifice themselves. And if you don't already have that habit built, say you're a financial advisor, you have habits to think about money. So you might already, you know, as soon as you get into a family mode, you might think money, and you work on money, you have a positive effect there, but you don't even think about this health aspect. Like, you're sitting in a chair stressing out all day at work or whatever it is, and you don't take the time because you don't feel like you have it. When in reality, if you just cut out some extra things that you don't need to do on a regular basis to take time to take care of yourself, you become much stronger and much more effective. And we gathered some stats right before the show on, you know, something that I was particularly shocked to see was the statistics on fatherless homes. And, you know, obviously we're talking to probably a lot of people that are parents, that are family members, and I just want to go through some of these stats that are from the fatherlessgeneration.wordpress.com. It's a whole website dedicated to encouraging responsible fatherhood. And there was one that I thought was unbelievable. Now, these are statistics from the 1900s and 2000s. I'm sorry, 1990s and 2000s. 24 million children, 34%, live absent of their biological father. And nearly 20 million, 27%, live in a single-parent home.
It's almost a third.
Almost a third.
Live in a single-parent home.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
43% of U.S. children live without their father. which is, hold on, that's not the stat I wanted. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. 90% of homeless runaway children are from fatherless homes. 90% of homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. If you want to know the impact that a father has at home, I highly encourage you to visit this website. They have the father factor in education. Children with fathers who are involved are 40% less likely to repeat a grade in school. Children with fathers who are involved are 70% less likely to drop out. And there's a whole bunch more on education, and I've gathered a lot of these and put them in the course and have a whole module talking about the impact that fathers have when they're there, and then the unbelievable effect you have when you remove a father from a home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not necessarily targeting, people separate for various reasons. So I'm not going to go into whether you're a good or bad person if you left the family, or if you're a father who got divorced from your wife and your kid lives with your parent. People get divorced for a lot of reasons, but there's a huge impact when it happens. But let's talk about from the impact. What these stats say to me is that fathers are role models.
Mm-hmm.
They play a part in the development of a kid's ethical code, their desire to behave, their desire to do better for themselves. There's an element to having a father. Now, what about from a perspective of having a role model as a father who shows initiative to take care of themselves, stay healthy, and do a lot of the right things for themselves so they can have energy at home rather than somebody who just slouches on the couch every time they come home from work because you are not up for it. You're not up for activity, or you just don't have the energy to do anything else.
Yeah, I know when I was teaching in New York City, I was one of 4 male teachers in a high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there was all females, and there was a huge proponent of that school that were fatherless homes. So they really, a lot of the students got along with all the male teachers, some of the problem students in classes, no problem in my class and the other male teachers' classes. It's kind of weird. And it was just oh no, they're not a problem. We'd have staff meetings. They're oh, they're not a problem in our class or whatever thing,
So another teacher would say that they're constantly having trouble, and then you go around the room, and when it came to you and the other male teachers,
no, it's fine. Yeah, then the other male teachers, no, he's fine in my class or she's fine in my and it's just crazy. It was just they would have a study hall or something. They wanted to know if they could come to our just come to the classroom to hang out or whatever, just to chat. I think it was because they needed that male role model in their life.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and being a male role model to me isn't about just being in touch with your feelings, or we have this image. I think some guys out there, they kind of resist this whole eating better thing and the exercising thing, or getting therapy if they need it, or meditating. They feel like they're being weak, and it kind of goes right along with I think somewhat justified. Some men are very frustrated with what they call the pussification of America. We do actually have generation by generation statistics that generation by generation we are getting physically weaker. We do have statistics that we're generation by generation. Each generation has a lower average testosterone level among men.
Did you see the thing, Ellie?
Than before.
That past guest Ellie Gilbert put on about pills to make men able to breastfeed.
Oh my God! Yes, I did see that. That is
don't do it.
No. Unbelievable. That's a good. I guess it was created by a female biochemist or something. Some woman that wanted men to be able to do it. That could be a whole nother podcast. That actually got me a little heated. There you go. that actually got me a little bit heated when I saw that, because you're messing around with biology.
Crazy.
You can't decide biology. And I know women would love for men to pick up whatever they're doing, but like men and women have a complementary role in the world with each other. And I'm not saying men can't do some jobs that women can't. I'm not getting into like what our skill sets are. But when you try to decide that biology had it wrong and you have it right and I'm going to change biology to my liking, I feel like we're walking in with a little bit of a blind eye because we don't know enough about it to make. I don't know. People are going to disagree with me, and by all means, we can have that conversation. But anyway, what were we saying? I got completely sideswiped there. That was nuts.
You're talking about generation by generation becoming more estrogenic.
Yeah, we're becoming weaker, more estrogenic from a male standpoint. And so I think men kind of resist this idea of, like taking care of yourself from a joint standpoint, taking care of your joints. I feel like they're showing weakness, eating way more vegetables. I don't know. We have these connotations of what manhood really means. Just eating a giant steak and bacon and not taking care of yourself, and just hobbling through life. Like I get this image of You remember the movie The Hulk, whenever he was like being attacked by the tanks and just taking bullet by bullet by bullet and just walking forward, picks up a tank and just smashes the other tank with it. Yep. By the way, that was awesome. However, I feel like
your biggest fear.
I feel like
turning into the Hulk.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear, was turning into the Hulk. I'm getting sidetracked again. But as a kid, I had a huge fear of actually turning into the Hulk. And everyone else was right. Mike, you have nothing to worry about. You're not going to turn into the Hulk. I never did.
Too estrogenic, right?
Anyways, I'm never going to get to this point. So, but I feel like men from a depiction standpoint, especially fathers, act a lot like that Hulk. You can take bullet by bullet by bullet, and it's almost like you have a badge of honor the more chinks in your armor you can take without going down. And in the movie, that worked really well for the Hulk. He won in the end. But, we're real people. And
What?
Your kids see what you do, and they watch what you do. And if we have a chance of turning this whole culture around, we have to act differently. And I think that starts with fathers. And because we do have a role as, leaders. There are female leaders. As a leader in the household, at least to the kid, they're going to watch what you're doing. And whether or not they do what you do and like the things they like is irrelevant. That's not going to happen. But you can, by showing on a regular basis that you're willing to take care of yourself for them. You don't have to keep killing yourself for them. You can take care of yourself for them so you're more effective for them. And if you keep making those points and you keep acting that way consistently, without yo-yoing, without giving up, having clarity of purpose that this family is what I care the most about, and I'm going to take care of my health so that way I'm not laid up on the couch all the time. Or, on the other side of the coin, you're not the dad that's obsessed with exercise so much that you're tired when you get home because of your awesome CrossFit workout that you just did, and you just did Fran, and now your legs don't move so you can't take the garbage out. That's useless. Think in terms of your usefulness as a father and take care of yourself, and I think that's a big part of manning up. Sometimes you have to get rid of drinking on the weekends. Sometimes you have to get rid of things that are good in order to do something great.
Yeah,
and cutting some of that clutter.
So I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, one of my biggest goals in life is to raise a great child.
Yeah,
right?
that's
child
shocked
or
me.
children, right?
I didn't know that about you until you said that.
So I am not one of those dad that is going to be like, come to my house like when my daughter starts dating, like with a shotgun in my hand, like, oh, sorry, I was just cleaning my gun collection, or like sharpening this machete, and be home at this time.
That actually did happen to me.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, my girlfriend's dad tried to scare me with a machete, and I didn't notice it.
Oblivious.
Yeah, I was totally oblivious to it, and I didn't say that to him, but my girlfriend told me later. Were you scared? About what? Oh, he was chopping down a tree with a machete when he was talking to you.
Cool.
People chop things down sometimes.
Yeah. We had a picture of your face on the tree, man. No, but anyway, so I'm not one that's going to be like that because through my daughter's growing up life, she is going to see how I treat Ashley.
Yes.
And she is going to see that as an example of how a man should treat a woman. And then if I have a son, my son will also see that, how I treat my wife, how I treat, hopefully, if we have another, and if it is a boy, like his sister, like my daughter, like how a man should treat a woman. And when my daughter starts dating, I won't have to worry about her finding someone that is doing anything crazy or trying to take advantage of her, because she'll know, like, she'll have a high expectation of what a man should do. And I'm sorry for all the future children out there, but, like, there's going to be a high expectation, because Ashley, to this day, we've been dating since 2006. It's 2019, right?
Yep.
She's probably only opened the door less than 10 times with me.
Yeah.
I've opened the car door. I've opened doors for her all the time. Like, she always gets mad at me, but it happens, and there's just an act of chivalrousness in me. And
fact checker, can we check chivalrousness? Is that a word?
And I'm just going to continue to show Ashley how much I love her, and Blaze how much I love her, and be a male. I'm not going to try and tone things down. I'm going to still have my testosterone moments.
Yep.
And probably get a little bit angry sometimes or raise my voice, but it's going to happen. And, I'll own up to my mistakes and apologize, and I'll do what I need to do to show how number one, a human being should act.
Yeah.
Like, with common sense.
Yeah.
Right? If common sense was a flower, we know it doesn't grow in everyone's garden.
Nope.
Just try and show her a lot of stuff, like how a person should act towards someone else, especially a male to a female.
Yeah.
So.
And like, on that point, part of manning up in my eyes is, owning your mistakes, owning the things that you got wrong. I think it's completely asinine, the people that don't admit to their mistakes. And there's people that have told me outright, I don't admit when I'm wrong. And I've asked why. I'm thinking of one person in particular. They said they don't admit when they're wrong because people will use it against you later on. And you know what? When you can't, if you're out there listening, like, this is a health-based podcast. We talk a lot about bigger things, okay? Because I feel like it plays into how you think about yourself and how well you take care of yourself. We all know stress has a lot to do with physiology and how your body looks. Now, if you are not willing to admit that you've screwed up, if you're listening to this show and you don't do the right things right now and you know it, I have the podcast with Mike Ash. He talked about hyenas, and he mentioned hyenas because they're the perfect depiction of an animal that's a scavenger, that is no threat to a human being unless they're alone in the wilderness and they're in a pack. And if hyenas represent things that can harm you when you're alone, those are the things that basically human beings, us, in this case we're talking about men, fathers, the things that you hide in the dark grow and control you. And the things that you don't do, that you don't acknowledge, will eventually grow to the point where they control you, or you're in so deep you don't know how to fix them. And if your health is one of those things, that's where we come in. We can help people do that. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not going to, we're not here to give someone a psychological session. But we know from fathers and fitness professionals that people have a lot of trouble taking care of themselves, and a lot of it has to do with things that they haven't admitted to themselves. And I think one of those things that fathers don't admit to themselves enough is that they don't take care of themselves and their body enough in the right ways. And you know it. Everyone knows it. If you're listening to this show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know you, but you know what I'm talking about. There's something that you need improvement on that you've ignored for a long period of time. And it's time to actually do it. It's actually time to make it better, because it will make you a better father in the end. Maybe you have to take some steps back and you have to have a big discussion with your family. But if it's your job and you need to step away from this job, do it. make a smart decision financially. If like don't leave your family up, but you need to start making steps to do something. If you literally don't have enough time to exercise 3 days a week for 30 minutes, you are in the wrong job.
I bet you though, Mike, number one, their job could be tough. I'm not saying every job is easy but in like some jobs, I know we have some clients who work crazy hours, right? But I think it's more of a time allocation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not agreeing with you like that it's in the wrong job, but I'm thinking more so like turn off the TV, get off of your phone.
Yeah.
Right? Like some of these busy people, some of my clients that I know are super busy will send me, like, tag me in 3 memes on Instagram in the middle of the day and like this on Facebook, or send me a video, and it's like, don't you have like this super important job? Aren't you working? So I think like time management, right? Like, oh, I had to take 5 hours of work home, and it's just really, and I didn't get to sleep. Well, like, how focused were you during your workday? Like how many coffee break conversations for a half hour did you have where you could have just toned it down a little bit and then got back to work? I mean, we're just as guilty as this. We'll be working out together, and then all of a sudden be like a half hour because we were talking.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we should get back. Yeah. Set number 2.
Yeah.
We're giving ourselves full recovery. So then it's like, oh crap, I didn't get through my entire workout because I was talking to Mike.
Yeah.
We were talking about wearing body cams and whatever. But like,
which I think would be awesome. Still.
I think I shared with you the time allocation article, and I believe it's on the old website, so we may need to put it on the new website.
I can link it to this show.
Yeah, link to the show notes about the time allocation wheel. Right?
Okay.
I think we did that exercise once, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's something where I think like being a father is a huge thing, right? And we all want to take steps in our careers to get better, right? Like you and I know, like, we're not going to be personal trainers waking up at 4 a.m. and not getting home till 8 p.m. sometimes when we're 60, or at least I hope not. That's not my goal, right? I don't want to be grinding until I'm 60, right? I want to set myself up for success so that I do that, then I step into a bigger role or something like that, like maybe teaching, like training or something, right?
Yeah.
Or mentoring, or getting a sponsored podcast. Thank you, Tom Brady, and Super Bowl champion of the Patriots, and all these. But just things like that. Like, but it's not going to happen unless I allocate time to it, right? If I work, say I have to work 16 hours a day. And, I got to sleep, so that's in there. But then it's like, okay, there's going to be a little bit of time here or there. Like, okay, I'm driving home. Maybe I can listen to a business podcast versus the radio.
Yeah.
Good point. I get home, I can read a book or listen to an audiobook versus watching TV. Right? There's a lot, or there's on the iPhone now, you can restrict the amount of time you're on certain apps. So you can set, like, I can only go on Instagram for a half hour. And if I want to post something, like, I got to post and ghost because I can only be on there a half hour. Or like Facebook, same thing. Like, you can limit yourself nowadays. And I think that's a huge factor. Technology was supposed to make things faster so we had more free time, right? Like, nothing was ever invented to, like, take longer. Right? So now, like, we have to, but now it's things are taking longer because there's so much available right away. So, like, we have to figure out a way in our lives to be better fathers by limiting some other factors. And like you were saying, like, maybe you're eliminating going out with the bros on Friday night. Yeah. Be responsible.
If that's what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just touched on a really good point with the technology thing. That's a good example. If you're the kind of person who has put this off for a long period of time, you will never actually come to a point where it's a good time to do it. Like, that technology example was perfect. Like, we developed technology to create more free time.
Mm-hmm.
So all we do is just fill up our free time with just more extra stuff. It's like, okay, I got done with all this extra stuff so much faster. Instead of having to write out letters, we can type out quick emails. Mm-hmm. And then we just went and did something else. So, like, we still feel like we have no more time. So just waiting for a day when you have more free time isn't going to happen, because I guarantee you, especially if you're a productive person, I'm talking to type A productive people, you'll find something to do to grow your business or to grow whatever it is that you're working on. You'll find another way. There won't be a perfect time unless you actually take steps to etch it out, create it, and declutter.
Take ownership of your life and your decisions.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm reading a very popular book right now called Extreme Ownership.
That's an awesome
by
one.
Jocko Willenick or something like that.
Yeah,
Just Jocko.
He's a 225-pound jacked Navy SEAL.
Yeah. And, take ownership of your lives. Like, he had missions where fellow combatants died, and, he said it was his fault that they passed away, that they got shot in the fight. Like, it was his fault because he could have done something better. He took ownership of everything. Yeah. And it made him a better person, right? So, we need to take ownership of our lives and our decisions to make ourselves a better person, to make this world a better place, to make us a better father.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's one thing to be absent as a father. We're not talking about specifically, that's a different deal if you're literally out of the home. Mm-hmm. But if you're in contact with your kids or you live at home, being present is different than just being there. Taking your role as a role model and example. Again, if they may not do what you do, like you said, you want to give your daughter and potentially a son or another daughter an opportunity to see how to treat your wife. But say they don't go that way, they will still have in the back of their mind that this feels wrong. Mm-hmm. If they don't get with somebody who treats them the same way, something will feel off center.
Yes.
There will be a warning sign going to them, and now they're going to make their own decisions. They could be totally different people than what you want them to be, but they will know there will be some kind of calibration of what is normal. Mm-hmm. And we owe it to them to at least give them that. Exactly. And especially, it's going to be twice as hard if you're the kind of father that has decided to put all of your eggs in just financial success and done in health. Your kids see that, and that seems normal to them. Mm-hmm. If you're totally into health, so far in deep that you're not taking care of anything else. Like unfortunately, we see people who come in the gym, and I don't know how they spend as much time as they do working out, but they literally don't put their eggs in any other basket. You know what I mean? So you can go too far. You won't get better that way. So I think taking the perspective, that's why I developed the F1 course. That's why you're doing what you're doing with the Silverback training. That's why we do what we do, is to hopefully convince a couple more dads. I think the secondary benefit is to convince a couple more dads to do the same, but more so to lead by example for our kids, so they can at least see somebody on a regular basis that values these things, because it makes you more effective for them, not just because it's better for you.
Yeah.
I think that's the big picture here.
Yeah. Everything, once you have a child, everything you do is for someone else. So as much as I'm taking care of myself,
bingo,
it's also I'm taking care of myself for my daughter, right? Like, if I am a 30-year-old person on my 600-pound life that just had a child,
yeah,
right? Like, how is my health affecting my daughter? Well, it's me. She's perfectly healthy. I'm giving her good food, like making sure she doesn't fall in this situation. Okay, but then at 35, I'm dead. Then what's happening for my daughter, right? Yeah. And yes, I know, you could go out and get in an accident, you can't plan for that, there's things, okay, I got you. But, take care of yourself so that you're around. Longevity is key, and it's not saying that you need to just breathe and foam roll in the gym. You can just, get after it, but, be there for your family as well. Take the ownership, take responsibility for your life and these other lives around you.
Yeah, and there's even scientific evidence, all in the F1 course, about how your health can get passed on to your offspring. Your state of your health when you conceive a kid does get transcribed and passed along to a kid. That goes with nutrient deficiencies, trauma and stress, all kinds of things. There's a lot of really cool evidence out there. So if you need another reason, aside from just feeling better for yourself, do it, because this is kind of, if we're going to turn around this ship of declining health generation to generation, the only way we're going to make it any better is if we become healthy ourselves and pass along that information as well. And that goes from a physical standpoint, like literally pass along that information, but then also by example, by leadership, and by by demonstrating it and encouraging, at least creating that kind of environment for the kid.
Mike, when you were a child, did your parents take you to like Burger King or like fast food a lot?
Yeah, absolutely.
They did?
Yeah.
So my parents, like, I always like, oh, we go there. And like, we went there, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, okay, especially my parents raising 3 kids and only like one working parent. Like,
Yeah. It was like once a month we got to go at most.
Oh, okay. So at most. Okay. So not a ton. Like, because there's families that go there a lot. So
yeah, no, it wasn't a ton.
Like once a month or like
McDonald's was going out to eat.
Yeah. So like I would say we had many going out to eat at those. But like, you see, so that's something that like, and then like your kids now. You have 2 kids that are, you know, B's in kindergarten, right? And then Luke is just a couple years younger. Like, how often have you taken them? Like, probably about the same or even less.
Way less.
What you know now.
I take them way less because I know, and this isn't because I'm a radical. I'm not a radical. I don't believe that, like, I'm putting my kids on gluten-free paleo and stuff like that, because I know that has an adverse effect on them. But knowing that they're going to get it anyways from another parent or another kid or a party, like we go to parties all the time and they have a slice of pizza, like there's no evil eye for me. Exactly. I'll go get them a second piece if they want a second piece. But yeah, like just because I know they're going to get it and I know it's going to be normal, I at least try to eat in front of them as normally as possible.
You're teaching them like what you're saying. You're passing down like the knowledge of you making those big salads with, you know, and everything and eating that throughout the day. Like they're seeing that. All the different fruits you eat, they're seeing that. Like, and then when they get older, they're going to be making these decisions, right? Like, okay, we took them out to Burger King because it cost me $8 to feed the whole family. Yeah. And we went to a movie and had some candy, and now we're home. Like, okay, but it's not every week. It's not every single month, you know. And all the other times you're eating, you know, the better. And then once they get older, and then B's going to be hanging out with his friends, Luke is hanging out with his friends, they'll have that Burger King or whatever, and then they'll be like, come home and be like, oh, I don't really feel that great, or I'm low on energy. You're like, oh, well. So then they're going to see, like, when I eat X, this happens. When I eat Y, this happens. Like, and that's not anything you're going to, like, hammer down their throats, but it's just the lifestyle that you're giving them. They're picking up everything. Like, how many times has Luca or B repeated what you said?
All the
like
time.
Not even things you like were saying to them, but like probably something you said in the car, and all of a sudden they're just repeating it. You're like, oh man,
right? Yeah, that's a shocker.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's the same thing. Like you don't know how much they're watching you, or like if you and then smack your head. I'm sure they're gonna pick up on it. Like one of my clients,
they even start walking the way you walk sometimes.
Yeah. So my client, his mother-in-law needs hip surgery. So one of Michelle's clients that comes here needs hip surgery. Yeah. And his son is 4 and his daughter is 2. And the mother-in-law babysits him sometimes. And she's like, oh, no, I can't do that. My hip. And the other day, I guess the grandmother told the child to, like, do something. He goes, oh, Nani, I can't. My hip, my hip. And then the younger one was like, my hip. And so they both started limping around the house instead of doing what she told them to do. Like, and it's just something that she said, like, nonchalant, like you say to someone else, oh, I can't go get that right now because my hip hurts really bad. Like, I just need to sit here for a little bit longer. Like, nothing. Yeah. We're not, okay, no problem. Let me go get it. But then, like, the little kids pick up on it, like, oh, my hip. I can't do that. Like, something completely innocent. But, you know, so I'm sure that's going to happen with me. It's going to happen with you. Good and bad, right? Yeah. Like, you eating those big salads, you know, that I get jealous of you eating because I just don't do it that often. You know, they're going to pick up on that. They're going to pick up on if you just eat fast food, if you keep buying food, your monetary habits probably.
It becomes normal.
Yeah.
You set a normal for them. Mm-hmm. And if 80%, you know, there's some families out there right now that, you know, 80, 90%, maybe even 100% of what a kid eats on a regular basis is processed. You know, that just eventually becomes normal. It's labeled food. That's what they think is normal. So you don't have to get crazy about this stuff. But if you just, you know, from a dietary perspective, you just spend, you know, time to make sure that 70, 80% of what they eat is actual, real food. I'm not talking about, first of all, don't put your kid on a diet. Don't do it. I mean, unless it's recommended by a doctor. I'm not talking about if a doctor tells you, you can do it. But don't put your kid on like gluten-free paleo or keto or vegan. Just let your kid eat regular food in the quantities that they can.
And compliment them on being healthy. And yourself. Don't say I'm fat. Your child will then say they're fat. Don't say you're too skinny because your child will be too skinny. You know, like,
you're placing a judgment on it.
You look really healthy today. You're eating really healthy.
Yeah.
You know, you're so smart, not you're so beautiful. Don't base it on looks. Don't base it on like body image. Like you're a beautiful person. Your soul is great. You know, you're gonna do good things today. You look so healthy today. You know, like you look really refreshed. You know, things like that versus I'm tired. I'm fat. I need to go on a diet.
The language you use matters, man. And think about how we talk to little girls. We see them, they come in their little dress, and we're like, oh, you look so beautiful. Everyone says, you look so beautiful. That becomes like the gauge of, I'm having a good day. Little guys, like, you're like, oh, man, hey, you look so strong. You look so handsome or something like that. Strong. So, like, guys and girls grow up with different stuff, but, like, when it comes to this whole fitness stuff, we're getting a little bit off on a rant, but this is really important stuff because it really does matter, is that you can't teach kids that if you want to avoid getting fat, you have to exercise and eat better. When you develop that association, food, I'm dealing now with 30, 40, 50-year-old people who have a complex with food that they just can't get over because they can't get it out of their head that food isn't just a way to get unfat. You don't have to deprive yourself of good food to get fat. And all that comes from associations we've made our whole life. You know, in order to lose fat, I have to stop eating the good stuff. Mm-hmm. All that starts then, man. All of it starts then because if you eat processed food your whole life growing up as a kid, then it is so much more flavorful on purpose that you can't, it feels like you're taking a step down when you go to eat real actual food from the earth that actually can make you operate and feel better.
Those artificial sweeteners and then real sugar. Like when people, like I worked at Starbucks for a while and sometimes we'd run out of like a certain sweetener and say they couldn't have another fake sweetener, they'd just use regular sugar and it'd just be like, they taste it, no.
Yeah.
They taste it and it's just.
Almost like you're just taking the lid off.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what they would do just to get it the same sweetness level as one like packet of an artificial sweetener.
And a lot of that, it's not because they're irresponsible people. It's just because you've eaten stuff that is so sweet. Mm-hmm. That's your gauge. So obviously, anything else doesn't taste normal to you. It's like all about creating normal.
An apple is sweet.
It's one of the sweetest foods on earth. One of.
And if it's not sweet, you may have to look at what you're eating.
Yeah, it's just about creating a normal and think about your own dietary habits, why you started that way, why you feel the way you feel about food. Why you feel the way you feel about exercise. Fathers, if you have a bad, if you have an inhibition to go exercise, good, fine, that's what you should do. But, you're going to have to start it anyways in order for it to feel better. And you know that there's going to be a positive outcome. And it's not just to get abs. Fathers, you may or may not be focused on abs. You don't need to. You can focus on making a body that's more operable, more functionally optimal, and use that body to then be a better contributor in the home. That's the way you can think about it. And to me, that has much more teeth. That has has a lot more weight, and it makes more sense. It's more motivating. And I don't know. Maybe we're just the only two people on earth that feel that way.
Yeah, but like it's always like they say, if you have a question, ask it because there's probably someone else thinking that way. So
I hope so.
If you have a statement, say it.
I hope so. So if you're out there and that made sense to you, either sign up for the F1 course or contact us at inwardinvesting@gmail.com, and you can talk to us about some online training options. But otherwise, the best thing to do is to start. If you're exercising a little bit, turn it up a notch this week. If you haven't fixed your diet, get on it.
Eat like an adult.
Eat like a freaking adult. Not like a kid at their birthday party. It's about time that I think fathers in particular take this thing by the reins and be present in the home as far as being more effective and taking care of yourself, leading by example in that way. Cool. All right. So we're not really good at closing the show, so that's about it. We want to thank our sponsors.
Exos.
Tom Brady.
Sure.
high fructose corn syrup.
Ugh!
They pay a lot. What can I say?
Apple.
Apples.
Digital design.
And
Dell.
Dr. Pat Davidson.
And Dr. Pat Davidson.
Thank you.
Canon.
And Canon. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter.
I'm Todd Whelan.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.